Good morning and welcome to Spotlight Contemporary Art with Barbara and Shara. Today's visit is to the Quadraro neighborhood, which is just outside of the center of ancient Rome, along the A metro line, so the metro line that goes from Temple, Rome, Flaminio, about 10 stops, and we'll get started.
Welcome to Quadraro, and most of you know Rome as an open-air museum. The fact that you can see so many beautiful things in the open air, just walking in the historical center of Rome, discovering all these beautiful ruins. Well, today we are going to discover another type of open-air museum. We're in Quadraro, and I would like to introduce you the founder of these street arts murals that we are going to discover today. His name is David. He also refers to Diavu, as you can see here on this wall. And the project was entitled Art Porinates Quadraro. And I would like to start with showing you one of the first murals that is of main importance here in the area.
Yes, in fact, a real outdoor museum. And we're looking at the first mural that we'll be seeing, so an entrance into the Quadraro neighborhood by the very well-known American street artist Gary Baseman. And it's a piece that is referred to as Buckingham Warrior. It has a very clear reference to the neighborhood. As you can see here, the Q44, which relates to one of the most tragic event of the Quadraro neighborhood, when the head of the Nazi forces in Rome, Kepler's troops, came through and they gathered up. The word in Italian is a very powerful word. It's called rastrellamento. A rastrello is a rake. And they raked through the population and took away 900 men and boys, brought them to the concentration camps. Very few of them returned. So this very brutal image, which we see here, which also refers to Baseman's father, who suffered through the Shoah. So it has this kind of double reference. And the spatters of blood, which were caused by the dagger, beheading, one of the three attributes of Christian thought, which are truth, veritas, faith, fides, and libertas, liberty, which of course have been completely destroyed, and the spatters of blood as we view what is a very powerful work of art.
We're looking at Nido di Vespe, wasp nests, a work of art, a mural that starts with "You are now entering free Quadraro" in English. Indeed, we are in Quadraro that was freed by their citizens themselves. They were referred to as Vespe, the wasps that you can see here on the mural. And so a wasp nest is referring to the nest of being the area Quadraro. And what you can see here is a work of art made by Luca Maleonte in 2014 with 7 wasps, referring actually to the 7 decades between the tragic day of April 17th, 1944 and 2014. What is so important about this mural is not only a very powerful mural in this area, right when you enter Quadraro, it really expresses how the Nazis were referring to the people that were trying to create resistance against them in 1944. They were seen as wasps. And this is why this mural is so key to this area. The mural ends with obviously the signature of the Italian artist Luca Maleonte, and also a really nice way of dating the work, 2014.
So by now we've seen that the neighborhood has lots of examples of street art. Some are in better condition. Some of them, unfortunately, have been deteriorating because there's very little upkeep of this kind of art, unfortunately. But this one is a particularly interesting example because it really reflects our American pop culture sensibility. And it is by an artist named Ron English. It's called Baby Hulk. And it quotes our cartoon characters, Batman, there's Mickey Mouse. But it reflects very specifically, or it relates very specifically again to the Quadraro events. And again, we remember that all of the street art refers to the neighborhood and to the dreadful episode of April 17, 1944. So here's the Nazi component here in Mickey Mouse wearing the gas mask. And Baby Hulk is the Quadraro neighborhood who's standing up, rising up, right? Resisting against the Nazi takeover. Unfortunately, 900 people were taken away, but the memory that survives is the memory of resistance and survival. And I think that's what makes this so particularly interesting. And then it appeals to all age groups, right? You can be young, you can be older. These are all symbols of our collective imagination. Welcome to Casa Vuota, an independent art space established in 2017 in the Quadraro neighborhood of Rome, which we've just been visiting. I'm very happy to introduce you to an exhibition, which is called Double Fantasy, of two Rome-based artists who are, however, not Roman artists. One is Milica Cirovic, and the other is Czuba. It's a group show, two women artists who met when they were students at the Accademia di Belle Arti in Rome, and who have collaborated on this exhibition curated by a young curator, young Rome-based curator, whose name is Gaia Bobò. So I'm introducing Sabino Di Nichilo, who together with Francisco Paolo Del Re founded, established this space in 2017 and continued to run it brilliantly. It's a wonderful asset to the Rome art scene. Sabino's also an artist, sculptor. What's so interesting, of course, about a space like this is that it goes absolutely in contrast, if you wish, to the established spaces in the center of Rome. Not only is it in a neighborhood, it's in a neighborhood outside of the center, and as you can see, it's a space that is completely against the preciousness of the commercial gallery. So we're standing in front of one of the works by Milica Cirovic, who's a Serbian artist, and I'm introducing the curator, Gaia Bobò, who, as I said earlier, did a wonderful exhibition for Temple Gallery. So Gaia, tell us a little bit about your motivation for organizing this exhibition, the choice of artists, and the space.
Yeah, I mean, it was already a conversation started between the owners and the artists. So it was rather, I got into the conversation that already was in act. And it was so beautiful because, of course, I found that it worked so well, the house, let's say the display of the house with the message that the artist wanted to express. And so it was fun to reinvent, let's say, the medias of the house, like the television or the frames, the family pictures, to express this message on gender and gender fluidity.
So I'm going to introduce one of the artists in the exhibition, Milica Cirovic, who's from Serbia. Would you tell us a little bit about your work and your thoughts and the ideas that you're exploring?
So my work is focused on, let's say it's a research on masculine identity, like what man is and how he's constructed, what he's made of. Let's say that bit distinguishes my work from work of, let's say, female artists that are focused very much on female identity, which is very right to do so. It has been explored a lot. But I was also interested in understanding if female identity is a construction, that there must be also the construction in male identity. So I'm doing this kind of play of transformation, like becoming a man to see, but also like powerful man. That is also my research. But well, actually, the man and power, they somehow go together. That is something also that got out of my artistic work.
You're the protagonist in these photographs. They're of yourself.
That's me. I'm doing self-portraits where I transform myself into man. And in this series, it's called See You in the Obituary. I transform myself into like, I cannot call them like Serbian criminals, but I can say that even like young, normal men were dressed in this way that had those criminals as role models. So I'm exploring the 90s and the identity that emerged during Yugoslav wars.
So welcome back to the storage room. And this is the work of Ola Czuba, the second artist in the exhibition. And I'm going to pass the microphone now to the curator, Gaia, who'll say 2 words about it.
Ola's work is often investigating the dimension of the tableau vivant. In this case, we only see the movement of the performer, and we see this small element which is disturbing, let's say, the image, and it's a needle, which, let's say, in our culture may be seen as an element of pain, but in Eastern culture, for example, is an element of well-being. So she's also playing with this ambiguity. This is another work from Ola, and which is named Controtransfert, and in these 2 tablets we can see the female figure and the male figure that switch their roles and their position, as we can see now, from a vertical position to a horizontal one. This is a reflection, let's say, on the role that this verticality and horizontality had in art history, because the horizontal figure, which is normally feminine, is normally, let's say, a passive position, and the vertical one, which is the male one, is rather active. So there's this way of switching the roles in this work.
So we're back in the bedroom of the apartment, and in fact, as you'll see, the piece reflects this designation of this room. And the 2 artists are here with 1 piece each. Ola is the piece, the bed, and Milica is the photograph on the wall. And now I'll pass you back to curator Gaia.
Yes, in full, this is, let's say, 4-handed piece, in the sense that the bed is, of course, from Ola, but the video, the tablet, is a video from Milica. And so this is, let's say, the only work that's made of the 2 artists together, let's say. It becomes a symbiotic work. And so there's this dialogue between the bed, which is a place of freedom and ambiguity, and this figure of the male, let's say, the powerful man, as also Milica said, which is, of course, expressing, let's say, a sense of control, which is, of course, then contrasting with the bed, which may be, let's say, a hymn of freedom and fluidity.
Thank you so much for having us today, and it was absolutely a splendid exhibition, lots of space for interpretation, for reflection, so double fantasy will stay within our fantasy, Shara, I think. I hope to see you all very, very soon. Gaia, maybe we come and see another exhibition that you curate. Milica, also we hope to see you soon in one of the other exhibitions here in the city of Rome. And also Sabino, continue the work that you're doing in this so important area, and we look forward to the next exhibition. I think you can follow Sabino and La Casa Vuota on Instagram and Facebook. See you soon.